What do you got, Nicole?
How did you come to the decision to approach the game you did with Drake and a lot of starters sidelined?
Just on a short week, and we had a couple good days that you guys, were able to watch, and so that's kind of where I was, and decided to do that and give us a chance to evaluate some other players.
Big picture, state of the team. How do you feel about this roster going into the regular season with a preseason review now?
Well, again, we're going to continually try to, strengthen the roster every way we can. There's a couple options, right? You can, try to trade for players. You could try to claim some players next week. So, again, we're always going to be trying to strengthen the roster, and that's what we'll try to do here over the course of the next 10 days.
Mike, your thoughts on the joint practices, the preseason games, and the training camp, and where you're at now as you get ready for the season?
Well, I think it's a good example. Where we're at, again, is still building and developing. But you can see when we were able to do these things in other games that happened to us tonight, we're able to win. And so it's a clear and easy example to show the team that when we give up X plays or we have penalties on defense, that's going to lead to scores and touchdowns. When we can't get into drives, we're going to struggle. And then obviously the turnovers, when we turn the football over, we give up big plays on defense. So it'll be, easy to teach from, just to show where we were in other games and then where we were tonight.
Mike, what are you happiest with, over the course of the last month from your first practice where you are tonight?
I think that's probably a tough question right now. Disappointed with just, how we played or executed. But I think that the guys, there's glimpses of, football in which we'd like to play it, and continuing to improve each day. We're so far from being where we need to be, and just trying to get that message across, stringing one good day together, putting another day together. So we've got 4 big days this week that we'll really have to work.
Kicking-wise, how do you feel Andy is hitting the ball?
Well, I think he's hitting the ball okay. I think that we needed to try to, we expect to make those kicks. And, we'll just have to kind of see where this thing plays out. Again, we got 2 kickers that we have a lot of faith in. And, I think he, again, swung it pretty well. I just don't think that it went in. It wasn't, obviously straight enough. Last week's was just disappointed in the operation, in the manner in which he, got out there in a timely fashion and kind of rushed it. So, that I thought improved, but we didn't make the one we needed to make, the long one tonight.
So a lot of peppers out there. Was that just because he hadn't played in the preseason yet, or something else behind the playing time there?
Well, no, just again, we got to have 11 out there, but wanted to see him play with Craig alongside. He's played a couple. Pep's played a couple different spots, and wanted to just see him play safety alongside Craig. He's played some in nickel. He's played some in the box on third down. He's played some different places, and really where we, tonight wanted to see him was alongside Craig, playing safety exclusively.
Same thing with Keon. We saw a lot of Keon in the first half. Why is he on the field, whereas other guys who've been starters or first-team guys not out there?
Because I decided and talked to Keon and wanted to see him work on some things and continue to, develop and try to continue to improve. And he was excited about playing. He wanted to play more. That's kind of our whole job, is to be ready to play and prepared until told otherwise. So, just trying to work on some things that we had been talking about and do it in game action.
Mike, we asked about Kyle Duggar about a week ago, what he could do to see more top reps. I think he said something to the effect of continue to learn, progress. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, I think that he's, continued to take advantage of the opportunities and the reps, and I think he's feeling more comfortable. We talked about a long rehab process in the offseason that he committed to, but it wasn't, wasn't a quick rehab process. He had surgery, and so I think that he's gotten better. I think he's improved. I think he's feeling better. It looks like he's feeling better on tape. And so, that's good to see. Those are all positive things. You know, making a play, you know, 2 interceptions. I thought he, you know, I thought he flashed. I thought he triggered. I thought he tackled. I thought his length showed up. All these things, and we didn't blitz anybody tonight. We didn't do any of that. But just playing in our base scheme, and those things I thought showed up tonight.
Mike, is there anything important the next 4 days just sort of to keep in mind before what happens on Tuesday?
Well, I mean, we put a lot into this, into the players and getting to know them, and you know the roster is going to change, and that's part of the business that we're in, and we always, you know, want to make those transactions as respectful as possible, and but that's part of the game, and that's kind of the life we've chosen. So there'll be some conversations that we'll have with players over the next few days. And we will keep those obviously very respectful, and you know, hopefully some of those guys can either end up back on our team or you know on somebody else's.
Mike, there was a report today that Jalen Pope will have to have season-ending shoulder surgery. Can you add anything to that?
No. I don't know, other than I'd like to find out where some of these come from. You know, some of these rats around here, so we'll figure that out.
I know you said that you wanted to, or that you were going to finalize the offensive line once it becomes clear. How do you feel the competition at left guard is going? Do you feel that you guys are nearing a decision?
Full disclosure, I had that conversation with Zolak just earlier today, so I don't think any time from the time that I talked about it today with him till now has gotten any clearer. But if it does, I'll let you know. No, I know. That's okay. That's why I was telling you. I only made that comment to him 8 hours ago.
That's pre-game interview.
Okay, pre-game interview. Sorry.
Mike, what encourages you about this team? You know, obviously tonight was not what you were looking for, but where you're at now, what do you think going into this regular season? What do you like about your football team?
I think that we started to have an identity. I think that we, you know, again, you have to put it on tape each and every day. And I thought that, you know, we were heading in the right direction, and it doesn't matter who you play in this league. It's got to come from your team. You know, your team has to look a certain way, whether it's the first string guys or the guys that are trying to build some depth and be, you know, multiple position backups or whatever that special teams players, role players, you know, that has to carry through. So, you know, I liked where we were starting to go defensively and having some, you know, showing some glimpses of the team defense. I liked our ability to take it. I thought our special teams units had done some nice things. We didn't have as many opportunities tonight. You know, and there'll be some young players that I'm excited about that maybe we haven't heard a whole lot from that are continuing to improve.
Last question.
Mike, speaking of left guard, it seems like Caden cross-trained less than some of the other guys. Any reason or thinking behind that?
Well, we'd always hoped that he would be in that competition. Got injured, missed a few days, and came back. So gave him a large opportunity there at left guard today. That's kind of where he was starting to make strides, I think, in the offseason. And, you know, we'll just continue to coach him. And, you know, he's gotten reps at other places in practice. And, you know, maybe that hasn't shown up as much in the games. Thanks, guys.